Now, your local sports authority, News Channel 7's Kenny Morales.
Have a day, Bucky. After the month the Wisconsin Badgers football team just endured, none of us are really sure what exactly to expect when they took the field today against Auburn. Everyone except Barry Alvarez and company.
Many were surprised when head coach Mike McCarthy announced his captains for the playoffs with 2 weeks left in the regular season. But the biggest surprise might be one of the players who was voted in.
You know, guys like Rodgers and Jordy Nelson, they know what it's like to be in this position. They've experienced this type of stage and this type of game before. But for younger guys like Eddie Lacy, David Bakhtiari, Corey Linsley, this is their first taste of an NFC championship game, and they all agree it's something very special to have so early in their careers.
So with the win, Pointers now 13-1 in the WIAC, UW Whitewater 12-1. After the game, Coach Semling and company, you could see, very happy to beat the #1 team in the nation, but they all had the same mentality. They'll celebrate tonight, but starting tomorrow, it's right back to work, and it's on to the next one, that next one being UW Stout here at the Quant on Saturday.
I'm joined now by both head coaches, Bash head coach Pete McAdams and West head coach Kevin Grundy. Coach Grundy, we'll start with you real quick. This team lost 22 seniors from graduation, but you guys picked up a big win last week in Marshfield. How do you think these younger guys have kind of stepped into new leadership roles?
The Buckeyes have dealt with a lot of adversity the past couple of days, not only just losing starting quarterback J.C. Barrett, but also the suicide of defensive lineman Kostek Kara-George.
For more on that, we send it over to Kenny Morales.
Thank you, guys. Stratford would love to get another shot at Amherst, who ended their 2013 campaign. But first things first for the Tigers, and that's to take care of Michigan. The return to Lambeau Field, the Packers cruised to a convincing win over the Carolina Panthers, 38-17. Aaron Rodgers and company wasted no time in putting up points on the board, scoring 21 in the first quarter. Wausau West not only able to beat top-ranked Appleton United, but also end their two-game losing streak here at the state tournament in the process. This game kind of a back-and-forth affair, as you said, up until the second period when United took a 2-1 lead, but then a couple minutes after that, the Warriors rattled off 3 straight in a span of 3 minutes to take a 4-2 lead, and they'd hang on to win it by a 4-3 count.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. The Wisconsin Badgers start the game off slow, finding themselves in a 17-3 hole late in the second quarter, much like they did 2 weeks ago against the Huskers. If history tells us anything, is that the Badgers are in for a very tough game on Saturdays. You know, Buckeyes have kind of had their number the past couple of years.
Our guy from Florida here is going,
thumbs up. Below zero 3 days straight. Love it. My favorite.
Welcome to Scotty. You've been here for a winter.
I know, but even you guys admit you still never get used to it.
A great game between two very solid teams, but in the end, those 2 turnovers proved costly for the Indians as Merrill now takes sole possession of first place in the GNC. Live from Mosaic, Kenny Morales, News Channel 7 Sports. The Wisconsin Badgers men's basketball team already has the Big Ten title locked up and a #1 seed for the Big Ten tournament. However, still plenty on the line for Bucky's gang in their regular season finale, specifically a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. A win at 23rd ranked Ohio State would certainly be a nice boost for their resume. In the first half, Bronson Koenig, man, this kid has been something special. 3 ball with a hand in his face, no problem. Bucky up 5. Midway through the half, Badgers starting to pull away. Duye Dukin nails the triple to make it a 23-9 ball game. Final minutes of the half, Wisconsin basketball at its finest. Great ball movement in the paint leads to the Frank Kaminsky flush. Badgers take a 14-point lead into the break. Second half, though, Buckeyes start to make a comeback. Jayshawn Tate count the bucket and 1. Free throw is good. It's now a 7-point game, but that's as close as the Buckeyes would get. Bronson Koenig, the hesitation move for the lay-in. The Badgers go on a 20-2 run, and they win it big, 72-48. They close out the regular season at 28-3. Speaking of Wisconsin, it looks like former Badgers quarterback Scott Tolzien will be back with the Pack next season. According to multiple reports, Tolzien and the Packers have agreed to a 1-year, $1.35 million deal. Tolzien, who will turn 28 in September, served as the 3rd-string quarterback behind Aaron Rodgers and Matt Flynn this past season. Flynn is an unrestricted free agent, so if the Pack let him walk, that could open the door for Tolzien to take up the backup quarterback job. Thankfully for Tolzien and Rodgers, they likely won't have their legs stomped on anytime soon. Reports are that free agent defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh will not return to Detroit and will instead take his talents to South Beach and sign with the Dolphins. The two parties reportedly coming to terms on a 6-year, $114 million deal with $60 million guaranteed. If completed, Suh will overtake J.J. Watt as the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. Former Badgers and 49ers linebacker Chris Borland once again making headlines after announcing his early retirement from the NFL earlier this week. The 24-year-old told CBS News' Face the Nation that he plans to give back 3/4 of his signing bonus. His rookie contract had a signing bonus of $617,436, so if we do the math, which I'm not really that good at, that amounts to $463,077 bucks. Exactly. It's something like that. I don't know. I found the number online. It was a little closer than I think most Wisconsin fans would have hoped for, but once again, Bucky comes through in the clutch and pulls out the big win over Oregon, 72-65. Now, of course, because of lovely TV rules, we can't show you any highlights. I know, super lame. But we do have this lovely scoreboard for you. Isn't it awesome? The Ducks slowed down. Holly's clapping for it. Thank you, Holly. Frank Kaminsky, he was slowed down a little bit, but he still finished with 16 points. But like many times before, the Badgers had other guys step up in crunch time. Sam Decker, he had 17. Nigel Hayes, 14. And the Badgers are dancing their way to the Sweet 16.
It's definitely a satisfying feeling. Getting to, the last 16 teams left in college basketball is obviously a good thing. But we're a 1 seed for a reason. We have a good team this year. We have a good body of work. So, we're going into games, expecting to compete and play hard and, come out on top. So when you get to a stage like this, we were able to do it last year. We've seen it before. We know what it takes. We know what we need to do, on and off the court.
So each region down to just 4 teams. The Badgers' path to the Final Four looks like this. They face off against the Tar Heels of North Carolina in the Sweet 16. If they win that one, they'll play the winner of Xavier and Arizona in the Elite Eight for a trip to the Final Four. Tom Izzo always has Michigan State playing well in March, man. Taking on the 2-seed Virginia today. Spartans imposing their will early on in this one. Brandon Dawson says, get that out of here. Denzel Valentine, the pass up to Travis Trice for the one-handed hammer. State starts the game on a 15-4 run. Later, nice ball movement leads to the easy slam for Gavin Schilling. Spartans looking good so far. Up 5 at the break. Second half, though, Cavs start to make a comeback. Malcolm Brogdon, the easy lay in there. Tough day for him, though. Just 3 of 12 shooting. Late in the game, Travis Trice, the dagger. Sparty with the big upset over the 2-seed Virginia, 60-54. Yesterday was a storybook ending for the Pointers seniors. Austin Riff, Alex Richard, Jordan Lutz, and Joe Ritchie winning a national championship in their very last game of their respective careers. A memory that they will always carry with them. But our own Chris Williamson caught up with the guys after the game to find out what they'd remember and miss about each other.
Alex Richard, I'll remember how stubborn he is. I mean, he's a pretty stubborn fellow, but I mean, it just brings us even closer together.
We know each other so well inside and out that there's so much that'll stick with us off the court for the rest of our lives.
We just all have such different personalities that mesh so well together. I want to miss going up against these guys in practice, and then all the fights we had, put tackling people, but it just made us a closer group in the end.
Yeah, Lutz is he's got a pretty good wiggle dance, so I'm going to really miss that if I don't get to see that anytime soon.
Sad we never saw that wiggle dance. Bucks back at home for the start of a 4-game homestand, taking on the Cavs. Bucks up early 7-0 until LeBron James just crushes one down the lane, gets Cleveland on the board. In the second, Michael Carter-Williams, the spin move and the teardrop falls. He finished with the team high 19, but he also had 6 turnovers. Not too good, MCW. This one tied right up until the 4th quarter. First time for LBJ, no. Second time, he's not missing that, folks. The King finished with a double-double, 28 points, 10 boards. Later, J.R. Smith. James finds him left alone in the corner. He knocks down one of his 7 triples in the game. Bucks fall 108-90. All right, enough basketball. How about some baseball now? Brewers taking on the White Sox. Tied at 1, bottom of the 4th. Logan Schaefer says goodbye. The solo shot gives the Crew the 2-1 lead. Oh, but the Crew were just starting, folks. They were just getting started in the 5th. Jonathan Lucroy up to bat. Luke with the 2-run blast. It's now a 4-1 ball game. Then, right after Luke, Ryan Braun steps up and he decides, you know what? I think I want to smash a homer of my own. I just want this to be my own, no one else. Brewers win it big, 13-4. They've now won 5 of their last 6.
Football season may be over, but Kerrigan Share and the Shawamigan Palm Squad are hard at work preparing for basketball season. On the outside, Kerrigan looks like your average teenage girl, but deep down inside, she has the heart of a fighter, literally.
I have a lot of scars, you can see, and I haven't been afraid to show them.
You see, Kerrigan was born with tricuspid artesia, a congenital heart defect in which one of the valves between two of the heart's chambers isn't formed, which means blood can't flow through the heart into the lungs to pick up oxygen as it normally would. Kerrigan's parents, Bob and Lynette Scher, learned of the diagnosis when Lynette was 7 months pregnant with Kerrigan.
It was very difficult. When we first found out, the doctors had given us a couple different choices, routes that we should take for the pregnancy. One of those was they gave her no hope at all, that there was no hope that she would survive. So they actually wanted us to end the pregnancy right away. That's something we decided against and went along with the pregnancy, and whatever happened, happened.
Kerrigan has gone through a number of surgeries throughout her lifetime, but last year she was diagnosed with a heart rhythm issue and had to go through open heart surgery in the middle of her junior year.
Actually, she had a different kind of pacemaker put in. The one she had prior to that was a single-chambered pacemaker, which only paced one chamber in the heart, and this one actually does 2 chambers. It does the upper and the lower.
When I went in just last year, it was scary. Not because I was so young when I had my open heart surgeries. I never remembered how it was, so that scared me. But going in, doing something minor, I haven't really freaked out that much anymore.
Now, while she isn't allowed to do any physical contact sports, Kerrigan hasn't let herself or her heart miss a beat.
We got a boat, and my friend, her family did wakeboarding, so they had me try it, and it was super fun, and the whole family would do it, and it was a lot of fun in how I could do it, and started actually doing pretty well at it.
But the fun doesn't stop at wakeboarding.
Kerrigan has been dancing for 14 years, but this year, her and several other Chequamegon students have formed the school's first pom squad that dances at both football and basketball games. The team voted her and her best friend Kylie as co-captains.
Dancing is a way to just kind of express yourself in so many different ways, and it's fun, and you get to bond with so many people. I'm really excited. It's really fun. We have a great group of girls, and they're really fun to work with.
For Kerrigan, it's simple. It's a chance for her to shake off what she can't do and show off what she can do.
Because I know I can't do other things, it's basically become my passion. It kind of boosts some confidence of things I can do.
Another thing Kerrigan can do is help others in her shoes, which she plans on doing very soon. After graduation, Kerrigan will be heading down to Madison to attend Edgewood College, where she plans on majoring in child life so she can one day be a child life specialist.
I remember when I was little, I had a child life specialist, and they showed me where my pacemaker was going to go before my surgery, how it was working.
Until then, Kerrigan has a few words of advice for those going through a similar situation.
Ask people that know how you feel, and just kind of be happy. 1, 2, 3, BAM!
In Park Falls, Kenny Morales, News Channel 7 Sports.
The Royals will play in the American League Championship Series.
For the first time since 1985, the eyes of the baseball world lie on Kansas City. In just a few short weeks, the Kansas City Royals, after a 29-year absence from the MLB postseason, have become America's sweetheart, and Central Wisconsin's Mike Jerschley is along for the ride.
If you would have told me at spring training we'd be playing in this series, I don't know, if I thought we were quite ready for that yet.
It was nearly a year ago this month, after spending 36 years in minor league baseball, 14 of which were spent as manager of the Royals AAA team, that the Clintonville native got the call from Royals manager Ned Yost to be the third base coach of the Kansas City Royals.
His phone rang, and every time his phone rang, we were saying, oh, it's Yost calling, it's Ned calling, just joking around. And then that one time, no, it really is. And we're like, oh, man.
Mike's oldest son, Jeremy, a former Wisconsin woodchuck and an assistant coach for the Pointers, says the whole experience has felt like a dream ever since the AL wildcard game.
When that ball went under Donaldson's glove, and you see my dad just waving. The three of us were jumped up. I think we woke up a baby.
When Salvador hooked that ball down the third baseline with our winning run on second base, I was ecstatic, and the fans in Kansas City were just going crazy.
But the magic didn't stop there. The Royals would go on to sweep the Angels and win the ALDS, with Mike's family watching from the stands.
You know, it was just a great experience for all of us. It's just, I mean, the TV doesn't do it justice. It's a storybook, and hopefully it's got a storybook ending.
Hopefully their storybook ends with a party, just like it did back in 1985. Kenny Morales, News Channel 7 Sports.